Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're making pumpkin stems. I'm just going to show you how I made them specifically to go on the heads of the little kind of pumpkin dolls, which I'll have coming in my next video. It's not a tutorial, but just kind of like showing you my tips and tricks and everything on how I put them together and just kind of taking you along me making them, because there's a whole load of parts and all sorts. But today I wanted to just do a standalone video for pumpkin stems and how I make them, because obviously you can use them in a ton of different projects, whether you're making like fabric pumpkins, little clay ones, whether you're just making like little dolls or whatever you're making and you need a pumpkin stem for, then hopefully this is going to be helpful for you. So materials wise, I actually use a brand called Milliput. If you don't have that or don't want to use that, don't want to buy it in specially, I could recommend probably using polymer clay, maybe air dry clay, maybe even foam clay. You won't get quite so much texture in that, but they're all options that could be available to you. Obviously with the polymer clay, we're going to have to bake it. Air dry clay, it's going to take quite a little time, you know, to dry down and everything like that. And also it's going to be a little bit more kind of fragile. So definitely not one if you're going to be, you know, moving it about. With the Milliput, I find it's a good mixture of the both. So I'm going to be using that today. That's what I've been using in my projects. And I'll touch on a little bit about that product first. What I'm using Milliput, if this is something that you've never used before, it's basically an epoxy kind of resin type clay. It's a putty, that's what it's called, but it's basically just like a resin clay. That's what the way I look at it. And on the packaging, it just kind of looks like this. On the side, it says it's an versatile epoxy putty, which is highly adhesive to most materials. It can be sculpted once cured. It can be machined, drilled, tapped, turned, filed, sawn, sandpapered, and painted. I can attest to all of that because it definitely does. On the back there, it just gives you instructions, basically tells you how to use it. You mix equal quantities of the two sticks by rolling them out for at least 5 minutes until the colour is uniform and free from streaks. It will become rock hard in 3 to 4 hours at normal temperature. So with this, you don't need to bake it. It turns out so strong. Anything that needs reinforcing, if like old china pieces get broken, I use this. I also use this in my kind of like main sculptures when I'm doing like toy art and stuff. This comes in so handy, especially if it's on a piece but I can't bake it, when it's attached to the piece, if you know what I mean. So I'll just open this up and show you what this looks like. This one here that I'm using is the standard color. It goes like sort of like a greeny gray color. So you have part A and part B. Basically you just want to mix equal parts. This one here is kind of yellowy color, then this one's kind of a gray, and it just makes this weird like green color. But there is a white one as well. It doesn't matter if you're painting it, obviously. I tend to just buy this one because it's usually the cheapest. But there is a white one available as well. So yeah, that's it for the product. Now let's get into the sculpting. So I've already got into so much detail about this product, but in order to actually get the like equal parts, the trick that I like to do is just unwrap it from this wrapper. I always end up wrapping it back up once I finish, just to keep it nice and moist and stuff. And I just kind of like get the ends of it, pop it down onto my desk like so, and then take some scissors and just cut equal parts straight across it. Just a nice quick and easy way to get it kind of like roughly 2 parts. You can weigh it if you want to be exact, but that's just what I do. Then mix it through, just making sure that both of those colors are fully mixed there. The gray and the yellow mixing together like really does help out seeing where the 2 colors are, as opposed to like the white one. When like sculpting, what I like to do is I take a kind of old paint can and I just get like the ball of the clay and just kind of smudge it down. Then I just stretch it out, making it into the pumpkin stalk like shape. What I tend to do is fold over one of the edges, and then I like to add in all the details. So for the details, I like to add in some major grooves, usually around about 5 to 7 of these I put in with the Cricut tool, just scoring down and making sure to go all the way like underneath and round up the base of the stem and going all the way to the very tip. You can use like an old pen if you have that, like an old biro. That will work really well if you don't have a Cricut tool, but I would recommend getting something like this if you're an avid sculptor. It helps out so much. What I then go ahead and did was I take a needle or something that's like very fine, just add some more texture onto there, making lines in the same way as the kind of like, you know, stem would go. What I then did was cut off the edges just to make sure that they had a nice like, you know, cut point. As you can see here, they're fully cured, so I actually left these for about a week. It doesn't take that long at all. Like, it takes like a couple hours. I would say 2 hours, they're probably ready to pick up. 4 hours, final cure, like amazing. I leave mine in between just to make sure that they're fully dry. But yeah, couple hours, you're set to go. The instructions say 4 hours. It's usually more like 2 to 3, but yeah, they obviously say that to err on the side of caution. To keep these down into place, what I like to do is actually just get a ceramic tile and just blue tack them down so that I'm able to paint like all the sides at once. I don't need to paint the bottom of mine because obviously I'm sticking them down, so this works out perfectly for me. The ceramic tile there looks a bit gross, I know. It has some primer on, it has some like all sorts of resin and everything. I reuse this over and over, but it definitely does the trick. So painting wise, you want to add on a darker layer first of all. As you can see, I put that brown layer on, really focusing it into those creases and those folds that I made with the first like Cricut tool. Then to like bring out even more of the detail, kind of brush that over a little bit more and use a white to kind of like highlight, you know, certain areas. And I just kind of go in and out and in and out using whites, browns and greens. And then I also like to use a little bit of gold once I'm done as well to add like even more highlights. I love it to get into it. You basically just want to contour that stem, so you want to get the browns into the gaps, you want to get the lighter shades on the outsides, really kind of like exaggerating all the texture and everything that you've already put in. I also like to, like I said, like to dry brush some gold on once I've done like all the details, because that just gives it a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a mystique to it. I don't know, I just like it, okay? I like it. You don't have to do that, but I think it adds like a nice little elegant kind of touch to them. Nothing too crazy, but definitely a huge difference compared to like the original there, as you can see. Another thing I like to do is just contour the very base part as well, just using a nice kind of dark brown, the same as I kind of put throughout the center. And I just kind of like flick that up from the bottom, just contouring all the way around the edge of the stems. Like, look, so simple, just perfect. This is what they've turned out like, really gorgeous with a matte coat on there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Sculpt it, then paint it. And that is that basically. To finish them off, all I did was probably about 3 to 4 layers of a matte top coat. I always like to top coat my acrylic. A lot of people don't bother, like they just like leave it cure for like 24 hours and then, you know, they're good to go. But I like to do a couple of layers on there. So these have been sitting for a little while now, so much so my nails have grown out since I started filming this. I've been making them probably over the past 2 weeks, just here and there. So I leave the acrylic paint to cure down for 24 hours, then top coat. Just do about 3 within kind of like the same limit on the can. Usually you leave it for around about half an hour between each coat, and then I left it to dry again and cure down for another 24 hours. So painting and coating and that sort of stuff for me takes at least 3 days, which sounds silly, but it's only like a little like 10-minute job here, there and everywhere. So yeah, the way they've turned out, really nice. Like I said, you could use these for a multitude of projects. I made 3 here, all different sizes, different shapes and stuff, so that I can put them onto the pumpkin dolls, which will be coming in my next video. I'm gonna go and attach them now because this is the final step for them. But yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you for you stopping on by, and I will see you very soon for that other video.